get past it.
But is the feeling at the State Department that what Saudi Arabia did with this execution was an intentional provocation of Iran?
Well, again, I think I'd let Saudi officials speak for for their process here. They'll tell you that this was in keeping with a judicial process that they had ongoing, a process, like I said, that we've expressed concerns about before. So I don't want to get into motivations here in terms of specific issues that might have driven one or another of the executions. They'll tell you that it was a legal process. We've expressed concerns about that process. Look, it's done, and I think it's important now that leaders from Saudi and leaders from Iran try to work this out bilaterally, continue some dialogue, get past this thing as much as they can. We believe, and I heard Nick's report about other nations jumping in here. We believe that diplomatic engagement and conversation and dialogue are really, really important. These are all sovereign decisions that these nations need to make. I get that. But we really think that engagement and conversation is the best antidote here to working our way through this.
Right. So what exactly is the State Department doing in terms of trying to bring down these tensions?
Well, one of the things we're doing is we're working hard to communicate with leaders throughout the region, very directly, privately, our concerns about where this is going and the need to turn it around and to focus on key strategic issues in the region, like Iraq, Syria, ISIL, Yemen. There's a lot of things on the agenda that we want people to stay focused on. What we're not trying to do is get in the middle of this particular issue between Saudi Arabia and Iran. We believe it's best for these two nations to work this out bilaterally.
But what clout does the U.S. really have? I mean, back to the original question of if Saudi Arabia didn't pay much heed to the U.S. warning not to do this, now what weight does the U.S. carry telling them to use diplomacy to work with Iran?
Well, this isn't about using leverage or clout. This isn't about us making threats. This is about trying to get these two sides to work this out together through dialogue and through conversation. Look, our leadership in the region is not questioned. Everybody knows. It's the United States who's leading the coalition against ISIL. It was the United States who helped get the international community to the table to work towards a political transition in Syria. Our leadership, the sincerity of what we're trying to do in the Middle East is not questioned by anybody. But this isn't a time for threats and for clout and for trying to use leverage. This is a time for these two leaders locally, regionally, to get together and to work this out.
But John,